Hello there YouTube, it's your boy B3, back with another kicking action figure review. We're doing more Kamen Rider today, gonna do a few Kamen Rider reviews in a row. The last one was Kamen Rider Zero, and today we are looking at the Bandai Japan Movie Monster Series Shin Kamen Rider Phase Variation Batta-Aug. Yeah, I know, that name is kind of a mouthful, and I think it's maybe supposed to be Batta-Augs. I think that's maybe a translation issue. I don't know, or care, but that's what it says on the card. Here's the card. You got the kind of shocker emblem, the name. If you pop it open, it's all the legal mumbo-jumbo. And then, you know, Shin Kamen Rider and whatnot. Very cool. Bandai. Bandaito? Is that how you say it? I don't know. Whatever. That gets the tag literally out of the way. And now we're going to look at the Batta-Aug itself. I think they fought 11 of them because it was like a 13 riders thing. And you can see that it is reminiscent of the Shocker Rider, or riders with the yellow gloves and stuff, from the original Kamen Rider, as denoted by the kind of yellow scarf there. And, you know, there was a version where you kind of saw their horrific skull mouths and stuff, but I prefer this one as an action figure, you know. Very kind of updated Showa look. I really like it. It's got a gun in the holster. And the gun isn't painted a different color than the pants or anything, which is kind of a bummer. A lot of the stuff on the pants, it looks like it could use some paint, but then a lot of stuff is painted differently, like the knee pads and the chest plates, the gloves, the boots, a lot of that, even some of the plates and straps back here on the back. The belt, that's all different, but then there are some things like maybe that elbow pad, some of these straps, the gun, those could be painted better. And when I have like a Marvel Legend that I'm reviewing and there's a gun sculpted into the thing, I'm like, why would you do that? Why not just give us a gun that we could put in the holster? With a Movie Monster Series figure, you know they're not going to come with accessories. This is just the kind of cheap, soft vinyl line that kids smack into each other, even though this was a very violent film that children should not be watching. Which is maybe one reason why it's in the Movie Monster Series. Also, that probably has something to do with like a deal with Toho and blah, blah, blah. Since Toho releases their Godzilla vinyls through Bandai and the Movie Monster Series. And I mean, the Rider Hero series is Bandai too, but it's a different line. It's probably had something to do with Toho getting money from merchandising, which is probably why this is in the Movie Monster Series line and not the Rider Hero series line. But I'm not complaining about which line it's in, because I got this guy for $8. That's a really great deal. $8. Holy shit. What an amazing steal on this guy. I saw him for that price and I was like, what am I supposed to do? Not get him? No, that's dope. Even though a lot of his paint is lacking, you know, the belt looks good. The majority of the front looks good. The scarf, the face, that all looks good. So he could use a little more paint, but it's not a deal breaker amount. Like, there are some Movie Monster Series and Rider Hero series figures where the paint is not up to par for me. Like recently, we reviewed Godzilla -1 in this same line, and I thought it needed a lot more paint. This guy could use a little more. If this was an adult collectible, I would be like, dude, that needs more paint. But since it's technically a kid's toy, I think it's okay. It's good for a kid's toy. But I do like the Shocker kind of symbol on the arm there. It looks good. Shocker Rider. Very nice. But yeah, I would have at least liked some on the elbows there and on the gun. Oh well. Articulation is what you would expect. 360 arms with a 360 torso. That's Naughty Cat, by the way. Who just had a birthday? You did. Who just had a birthday? You did. You just had a birthday. Very fun. Alright, now let's get into size comparisons. First up, we gotta compare it with a bunch of Kamen Riders. First up, its own line. I always say that if a figure scales well with its own line, then it just scales well, period. But it's also nice when they scale well with other lines. So first, for its own line, the Movie Monster Series Kamen Rider Zero from Shin Kamen Rider. He's kind of like the big bad, and this guy's boss. Yeah, that looks good to me. That looks great, actually. So he scales very well with his own line, and that's perfect. Let's move you on out of there. Then how about the Rider Hero series? That's really the next thing we should check. Here is the Rider Hero series. Kamen Rider Saber Dragonic Knight, who I also think looks good. Yeah, he looks a lot bulkier, but he is a more heavily armored rider, and that's not... all this on the legs isn't all leg. A lot of that's kind of like a skirtish kind of coattails thing. So that's different. I still think they look really good together. The paint on this guy is better, though. But yeah, this guy will probably be one of the next reviews, so keep that in mind and subscribe if you want to see it. But I have already reviewed number 0. Our next Kamen Rider is the Rider Kicks figure. Kamen Rider Zio, kind of in his base state here. Just way too small. That's like if a kid was a Kamen Rider. Not going to work, so sadly, he does not scale well with the Rider Kicks figures. Next up is a different gimmicky line. And kind of the older scale. The Rider Kicks figures kind of took these over. It is the best match Kamen Rider build Rabbit Tank, who is unfortunately also a little small. But I have reviewed this Zio and build, so you can check out those videos if you'd like. Yoink! Next up for Kamen Rider, this will probably be the last Kamen Rider of the day, and then we'll move on to some other franchises for scaling. It is an SH Figure Arts. This is the SH Figure Arts Kamen Rider Amazon Sigma, who is about the same size as the best match and not really gonna work. Oops. Not great. But this is a really cool figure. Check out my review. Yoink. Now how about Super Sentai? Super Sentai and Kamen Rider crossover all the time, or at least they used to. I'm very behind on both shows. So here is the Sentai Hero series. 2 Kaiser. Yeah, he's a little taller, but not an unrealistic amount. I think that could really work. So yeah, he'll go well with your Sentai Hero series figures, which will make for a great Henshin Hero display. Yoink. Now how about the quote-unquote all-new Ultra Hero series with Jeanbot. Obviously, Jeanbot is a giant robot that fights Kaiju and Seijin and stuff alongside Ultraman, but in a display, if you want your Ultraman stuff displayed with your other Henshin heroes instead of your Kaiju, then this is what they'll look like. I display my Ultras with my Kaiju, not my Henshin heroes, but not everyone might do it that way. So that's how it'll look, and it will look good. Next up, how about the kind of Spark Doll-sized figures, like this Ultra Hero Orb, Ultraman Orb, Thunder Barester, which is very small compared to him. Once again, it's like a child fighting alongside him. Not super great. Then you have the Ultra Monster series, Artificial Life M1. Even if it's Kaijin sized, that still seems small to me. Sorry. Sorry. Nope. And then one more Ultra scaling. It is the Ultra action figure Ultraman Zero Beyond from Ultraman Geed. This one's kind of close, but no cigar. Not quite tall enough. Oh well. Next up, how about Power Rangers? Here is the Hasbro Power Rangers Dino Fury Hingeman. That's a good one. Okay. I can kind of see this working. You could kind of make it work. It's not perfect, but it's doable. And when we pull him back, we'll do one more with the Power Rangers Lightning Collection Target exclusive Tyrannosaurus Sentry, who actually looks pretty decent. You know, I think he actually looks pretty good with this Lightning Collection figure. Yeah, I'm going to call that a pass. I think that pulls off pretty well. Really, I do. That's good. Once again, I have reviewed nearly every figure you just saw. I think I've reviewed everything except for the Kamen Rider Saber Dragonic Knight, so keep that in mind. And definitely check out more reviews in the future. All right, so let's pull you out of here. And what are my final thoughts on the Bandai Japan Movie Monster Series Phase Variation Batta-Augs from Shin Kamen Rider? It's good. The articulation is what you expect. The detail is great. The paint could be better, but he scales well with his own lines. So yeah, and it's not even that much that the paint needs. Once again, this is a cheap kid's toy. I got it for $8. I never, like, that's insane. I would have expected to pay like 20. For real. Great price. $8 friggin'. Wow. And yeah, like, he has this plastic between the antenna, but the antenna would be so small and thin, that plastic is needed to be there. And it doesn't really bother me. It almost looks like part of it that should be there. He's a good figure. I like him. If you collect the Rider Hero series or Movie Monster series, I think this will slide perfectly into your collection. So that's it. Thank you all very much for your support. Remember to rate, comment, and subscribe. Check out all the cool links in the description below. And I'll see you all next time. Bye for now.